First of all, the most important thing is that you have to know the difference between x plus x and x times x. X plus x means add two x's together, so you would get 2x. But x times x means times two x's together, and this gives us x squared. This is actually just another way of writing x times x to make it quicker. You need to remember that. With these questions, I'm going to go through very quickly without writing any answers down. I'm then going to stop and ask you to pause and write the answers down yourself, and you can then check them. So, x plus 5x is 1x add 5x, that would be 6x. 3x plus 7x would give me 10x. 6x minus x is 6x minus 1x, which would be 5x. 4x minus 3x would give me 1x. I don't need to write the 1, I can just write x. 7y plus 2y would be 9y. X times 5x would be 5x squared. 3x times 7x, I would do 3 times 7, which is 21, and x times x is x squared, so it would be 21x squared. 6x times x would be 6x squared. 4x times 3x, I would do 4 times 3, which is 12. X times x is x squared, so it would be 12x squared. 7y times 2y, I would do 7 times 2, which is 14, and y times y, which is y squared, so it would be 14y squared. Now press pause. Write the answers down, and when you are ready to check them, press play again. These are the answers you should have written down. This one is in red because you need to remember not to write 1x, but just to write x. Check your work. These types of questions are a little bit longer and take a little bit more time to do, but they are very popular on exams. What I'm going to do is do the first two for you, then ask you to press pause and do the second two, then you can check your answers. So, on this one, I've got 5x minus 2x. That gives me 3x. I've got to put creatures that are the same together, so I put the x's together. Then, I've got plus 3y minus 7y. All together, that gives me minus 4y. If I do the next one as well, I've got 6x plus 3x. That will give me 9x. If I now look at the y's, I've got minus 4y plus 9y, and that will give me plus 5y. Now press pause and try the other two. When you're ready to check your work, press play again. So the answers are 3y minus 2y is y. Remember not to write 1y. Minus 2x plus 7x is going to give me plus 5x. And the next one, 7x plus x gives me 8x. And then minus 3y minus 2y gives me minus 5y. We're now going to have a look at expanding brackets and simplifying. If you need to review how to expand brackets, please see clip number 58. On this page, I'm going to do the first two, then I'm going to stop and tell you to press pause so that you can try the third one. You can then check your answer. The first thing we need to do is expand the bracket. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 1 gives me plus 4. I now need to do the second bracket. I've got plus 2 times 3x, which gives me plus 6x, and I've got plus 2 times plus 2, which gives me plus 4. All together then, I've got 4x plus 6x, which is 10x, and I've got plus 4 plus another 4, which gives me plus 8. Looking at the next one, I've got 2 times 4x, which is 8x, and 2 times minus 1, which is minus 2. For the second bracket, I've got minus 2 times x, which is minus 2x, and I've got minus 2 times plus 4, which is minus 8. Putting that all together, I've got 8x minus 2x, which gives me 6x, and I've got minus 2 minus another 8, which will give me minus 10. Now press pause and try the third question. When you're ready to go through the answer, press play. So, the answer you should have got is 5 times 2x is 10x, and 5 times plus 1 is plus 5. Now we've got plus 2 times x, which is plus 2x, and we've got plus 2 times minus 1, which is minus 2. Now putting it all together, I've got 10x plus 2x, so that's 12x, and I've got plus 5 minus 2, which is plus 3. We're now going to look at multiplying. I'm going to do the first one and then ask you to do the second one. When we multiply, we need to multiply the numbers first. So we've got here 2 and we've got 3. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Then we need to look at the letters. I'm going to do the x's first. So I've got x squared times another x. Because I've got 2 there and 1 there, I've got x cubed, 3 altogether. Now I'm going to look at the y's. I've got a y here and a y here. That's 2 altogether, so it's y squared. Now press pause and try the second one yourself. Press play when you're ready to go through it. So we multiply the numbers. 5 times 4 gives me 20. X cubed times x squared gives me x to the power of 5. Make sure you've not written x to the power of 6. We've got 3 and 2, so we've got 5 altogether. Y squared and y is going to be y cubed. 3 of them, 2 there and 1 there. Now we're on the review section. Press pause and try this page. When you're ready to see the answers, press play. So you should have got 9x, 8y squared, 14x, and x. Press pause again and try these. Press play when you're ready for the answers. So we put the 4x and the plus 3x together and get 7x. We put the plus 2y and the minus y together to get plus 1y, which we write as plus y. Don't put in the 1. On this one, we've got 5x plus 2x, which is 7x, and we've got minus 3y minus 4y, which is minus 7y. Now press pause and try these. When you're ready for the answers, press play. So, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times plus 1 is plus 3. Plus 5 times 3x is plus 15x, and plus 5 times plus 2 is plus 10. Putting it together, 3x plus 15x is 18x, and plus 3 plus 10 is plus 13. 3 times 4x is 12x, and 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x, and minus 2 times plus 4 is minus 8. Putting it together, 12x minus 2x is 10x, and minus 3 minus 8 is minus 11. On the last one, 5 times 2x is 10x, and 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x, and minus 2 times minus 1 is plus 2. Putting it together, 10x minus 2x is 8x, and minus 5 plus 2 is minus 3. This is the last bit. Press pause, try them, and press play when you're ready for the answers. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, x squared multiplied by x is x cubed, and y multiplied by y is y squared. So our answer is 6x cubed y squared. 2 multiplied by 5 is 10, x squared multiplied by x squared is x to the power of 4, and y squared multiplied by y is y cubed. So our answer is 10x to the power of 4 y cubed. In these questions, we're asked to expand the brackets. What this means is that everything inside the bracket has to be multiplied by the number outside the bracket. 2 times 3x gives me 6x, and 2 times 4 gives me 8. For this question, 3 times x gives me 3x, and 3 times minus 2 gives me minus 6. Here are some questions for you to do. Press pause and have a go at them. When you're ready for the answers, press play again. Five times 2x is 10x, and 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 1 is 4. In this question, we're asked to expand and simplify these. What this means is that everything in the second bracket needs to be multiplied by everything in the first bracket. So we start by multiplying everything in the second bracket by 3x. 3x multiplied by x is 3x squared. 3x multiplied by 3 is 9x. We then multiply everything in the second bracket by the 2. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6. We've expanded the brackets, we now need to simplify. So we look at each term and see where we've got the same creatures. The 2 in the middle are both x, so we can put those two together. This gives us 3x squared, which stays the same, plus 9x and 2x gives us 11x, and then the plus 6 goes on the end. The next case we need to look at is where one of our brackets contains a plus and one of our brackets contains a minus. We start in the same way, multiplying everything in the second bracket by the 4x. So 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times minus 6 is minus 24x. You must be careful of the minuses. We now multiply everything by plus 5. So 5 times x is plus 5x. But plus 5 times minus 6 is minus 30. We've expanded the brackets, we now need to simplify. So we look at each term and see where we have the same creatures again. We've got these two in the middle, which are both x's. So we have 4x squared, then we have minus 24x plus 5x. Which gives us minus 19x, and then minus 30 on the end. The next type of question you might get is one where there's a minus in both brackets. We start in the same way. So 2x multiplied by 3x is 6x squared. 2x multiplied by minus 2, watch those minuses, is minus 4x. Minus 1 multiplied by 3x is minus 3x. And then be very careful here. -1 multiplied by -2. Be careful of the minuses. That's +2. We then need to simplify it. So we have 6x squared minus 4x minus 3x gives us -7x. And then +2 goes on the end. Here are 3 questions for you to try. Have a go at them, press pause, and once you've finished, press play again to see the answers. This is for really advanced people only. We've got 3x plus 2 squared. Now, most people, when they see this question, want to do 3x squared, so they get 9x squared, and plus 2 squared, so they get 4. Their answer would be 9x squared plus 4, but unfortunately this isn't right. So, can you just watch what I'm doing? Because it says squared, we actually need to write out the whole bracket twice. 3x plus 2 and 3x plus 2 again. Once you've done that, it's exactly the same as the ones we've just been doing, so I'm just going to run through it very quickly. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. 2 times 3x is 6x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Simplifying it now, we get 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. This is a substitution question. We're told that x equals -3, and we're asked to work out the value of this here. We've got an invisible time sign in between the 6 and the x. We need to remember that when we do the question. So, 6x plus 1 actually means 6 times x plus 1. X is -3, so we've got 6 times -3 plus 1. 6 times -3 is -18, plus 1 is going to give me -17. In this question, we're told that x is 5 and we need to work out the value of 2x squared. We've got an invisible times sign here. So 2x squared means 2 times x squared. X is 5, so we're doing 2 times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, and 2 times 25 is 50. In this question, we're asked to do 2x squared again, but this time x is -3. So we've got 2 times x squared, but x is -3. Now, when we've got a negative, we need to put it in brackets. That's very important. -3 squared gives me 9. So I'm now doing 2 times 9, which is 18. Just to recap these questions, just remember that the reason I did 5 squared first was because of BODMAS. If you can't remember BODMAS, have a look at clip 16. So I'm going to do 5 squared first, and I remember that 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is 25. Then I can multiply it by 2. The same for this one. The squared comes first, so I'm going to do -3 squared, which is -3 times -3, and that's why it's 9. Then I'm going to multiply by 2 to get 18. Here are 3 questions for you to try. Press pause, and when you're ready to see the answers, press play. So the answer for the first one should be 22, for the second one, 30, and for the last one, 34. This question is about forming equations and solving them. But in the first part, we're asked to form an expression. Now, an expression is a little bit like an equation, but it doesn't have an equal sign. The question asked me to form an expression in x for the perimeter of the rectangle. What this means is work out the perimeter of the rectangle, but your answer is going to have x in it somewhere. Now, this top side is 2x plus 5. Because it's a rectangle, the bottom is 2x plus 5 as well. This side is x minus 1, so this side is also x minus 1. Now I need to work out how many x's I've got all together in my perimeter. 2, add 1 is 3, add another 2 is 5, add another 1 is 6. So it's 6x. I now need to look at the numbers. I've got 5, minus 1 is 4, add 5 is 9, minus 1 is 8. So my expression is 6x plus 8. It hasn't got an equal sign, so it's an expression, not an equation. In the next part, I have to make an equation. So I'm going to have my expression, and now it says that the perimeter is 50, which means that this must be equal to 50. Then it asks me to solve it. I'm going to use the techniques of float and ping and escalator to solve this equation. If you can't remember how to do these techniques, please watch clip 60. To begin with, I'm going to put a bubble around the plus 8. It's going to gently float over the equal sign, and as it floats over, you'll hear a ping sound. That's the plus 8 changing to a negative 8. So I've got 6x equals 50 minus 8. That gives me 6x equals 42. I'm now using escalator. The 6 goes down the escalator. This gives me x equals 42 over 6. If I work that out, 42 divided by 6, I get x equals 7. Here is a question for you to try. Press pause and have a go. Once you've done it, press play to see the answers. Here are the answers. If you've got them right, you can stop the clip now. If you'd like to see how I got those answers, please continue watching. The top is 5x minus 4, so the bottom is 5x minus 4. This side is 2x minus 2, so this side is 2x minus 2. Now if I count the x's, I've got 5, add 2 is 7, add another 5 is 12, add another 2 is 14. Now look at the numbers, minus 4, minus 2 gives me minus 6, minus another 4 gives me minus 10, minus another 2 gives me minus 12. This is my expression. To form an equation, I get my expression, and then it says the perimeter is 16, so this must be equal to 16. I then use the techniques of float and ping and escalator to solve this. I put a bubble around the minus 12. It floats gently over the equal sign, and you'll hear a pinging sound as it changes to plus 12. So I've now got 14x equals 16 plus 12. That gives me 28. Now doing escalator, the 14 goes down the escalator, so I've got 28 divided by 14, which gives me the answer 2. Solving equations is a large topic on the exam, but there are just 2 techniques you need to learn. They sound silly, they're float and ping and escalator, but if you can master these 2 techniques, you can solve any equation. We're going to start looking at the first technique, float and ping. When we're solving an equation, what we're actually trying to do is get the x on its own. So to solve an equation, we need to look what's with the x. It's plus 3, and I'm going to put a bubble around it. Now, using the technique of float and ping, the plus 3 floats over the equal sign. When it gets over the equal sign, you'll hear a pinging sound, and that's the plus pinging to a minus. So I've now got x equals 12 minus 3. To solve the equation, I work that out, and 12 minus 3 is 9. On this one, I'm trying to get the x on its own, so I put a bubble around the minus 5. It floats over the equal sign, and when it goes over the sign, you'll hear a pinging sound. That's the minus 5 pinging to a plus 5. So I've got x equals 13 plus 5. To solve the equation, work this out, and that's 18. This one looks a little bit different, but you're still going to use the same technique. We're getting the x on its own, so the plus 4 has a bubble round it. It's going to float over the equal sign. The plus 4 will ping to a minus 4. You've got two options here. You can either drop it after the 13 or in front of the 13. If I drop it in front of the 13, I've got minus 4 plus 13 equals x. And if I work that out, minus 4 plus 13 is 9. On this one, get the x on its own, I've got a 2 to move. Now it's actually a plus 2. So when I float it, it's going to become minus 2. I can either drop it after the 7 or in front of the 7. So I'm going to have minus 2 plus 7 equals x. And minus 2 plus 7 gives me 5. We're now going to look at the second technique, and this technique is called escalator. If we look at these questions, you can see there are no pluses or minuses, so we can't use the technique of float and ping. To use the technique of escalator, we look what's with the x, and that is a 5. It needs to go down the escalator, so it's going to go underneath the 10. So we've got x equals 10 over 5. Now this line over means divide, so 10 divided by 5 gives me 2. On this one, the 2 is underneath the x, so it needs to go up the escalator, and it's going to be next to the 7. Now, when it's next to the 7, it's actually times. So I've got 7 times 2, which is 14. This question looks more complicated, but we're just going to do 2 escalators. The 3 is going to go up the escalator, leaving me with the 2x equals 4 times 3, remember, that's 12. Now the 2 is going to go down the escalator, which gives me 12 divided by 2, which is 6. Same on this one, we've got 2 escalators, so we're going to take the 2 up the escalator first of all, which leaves me with 5x, 10 times 2 is 20. Now for my second escalator, the 5 goes down, so I've got x equals 20 divided by 5, which is 4. This is a more difficult type of equation, and this is the sort that you will usually get on an exam. What we need to do is combine float and ping and escalator, and we always do float and ping first. So if I look at this equation, my float and ping bit is the plus 1. So I'm going to put a bubble around the plus 1, float it over the equal sign, it will change to a minus 1. So I've got 2x equals 9 minus 1, and at that stage, that gives me 8. Now I've done my float and ping, I need to do escalator. The 2 is going to go down the escalator, so I've got x equals 8 over 2, and if I work that out, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Here's a question just like the last one for you to have a go at. Press pause, and when you're ready to see me go through it, press play again. So we start with float and ping. The float and ping bit is the minus 7. That floats over the equal sign and pings to plus 7. So I've got 3x equals 14 plus 7. And if I work that bit out, it gives me 21. That's the first stage complete. I now need to do escalator. The 3 goes down the escalator. So I've got x equals 21 over 3. And 21 divided by 3 gives me 7. So x equals 7. We'll do this question together. Look at it carefully. Have we got any float and ping? Yes, we have here, this minus 1. So I'm going to put a bubble around it, float it over the equal sign, and it's going to become plus 1. So I've got x over 5 equals 7 plus 1. And if I work that bit out, it's 8. Now look at escalator. This 5 here needs to go up the escalator. So I've got x equals 8 times 5 because it's gone up the escalator. 8 times 5 is 40. This question looks different to all the others, but we're going to make it look the same by expanding the bracket. To review expanding brackets, please see clip number 58. Everything inside the bracket needs to be multiplied by 2. So I'm going to do 2 times 3x, which is 6x, and 2 times 4, which is 8. I've now got a question that looks like the ones we've just been doing. We've got a float and ping, and we've got an escalator. So float and ping the plus 8, it becomes minus 8. So I've got 6x equals 38 minus 8 will give me 30. Then escalator, the 6 goes down the escalator, so I've got x equals 30 divided by 6, which gives me 5. Here are some questions for you to try. Press pause, and when you're ready to go through the answers, press play to see them. So on this question, we use escalator. 2 goes down the escalator. X equals 8 over 2, which is 4. Escalator on this one, the 3 is going to go down the escalator. X equals 15 over 3, which is 5. Escalator on this one, the 2 is going to go down the escalator. X equals 9 over 2, which is going to give me 4.5. On this one, we've got a 3 going up the escalator. So x equals 10 times 3, which is 30. Here we've got a combination. So the minus 3 is going to float and ping first of all, which gives me 4x equals 7 plus 3, which is 10. Then 4 is going to go down the escalator. So we've got 10 over 4, which is 2.5. Another combination, we've got float and ping first. So the minus 4 is going to float and ping and become plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. And then we've got 2 to go down the escalator. So x is 5 over 2, which is 2.5. Here are some more difficult ones for you to try. Press pause, and when you're ready to see the answers, press play again. So on this question, we need to multiply out the brackets first. 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 1 is 2. Then we're going to float and ping the plus 2. It's going to become minus 2. So we've got 6x equals 32 minus 2 is 30. Then the 6 is going to go down the escalator. So we've got x equals 30 over 6, which gives me 5. On this question, look for float and ping first. We've got a float and ping here. Minus 10 is going to become plus 10. So I've got 5x over 2 equals 15 plus 10, which is 25. Then we're on to escalator. To start, the 2 is going to go up the escalator. So we've got 5x equals 25 times 2, which is 50. Then the 5 is going to go down the escalator. So we've got x equals 50 over 5, which is 10. This is the final type of question, and it's worth more marks on the exam. Can you see what the difference is here? The difference is that we've got x on both sides of the equal sign. When you've got a question like this, you always use the following technique. You need to ask yourself, where are the most x's, on the left or on the right? In this question, the most x's are on the left. This means that the other x's need to float and ping to the left, and the numbers need to float and ping to the right, like this. That's a plus x and it needs to float and ping to the left. And that's a plus 1 and it needs to float and ping to the right. I've now still got the 3x here, but the plus 1 has gone and I've now got the plus x which has float and pinged, so it's minus x. I've still got the equal sign and I've still got the plus 9, but I've now got the plus 1 which is float and pinged, so it's minus 1. Now 3x minus x is 2x, 9 minus 1 is 8. This looks like the sort of question I'm now really good at. It's an escalator question. The 2 is going to go down the escalator. So I've got x equals 8 over 2, which is 4. Now if we look at this question, the most x's are on the right. So the x's need to float and ping to the right, and the numbers need to float and ping to the left. So that's a plus 2x, and that needs to float and ping to the right. And that's a minus 13, and that needs to float and ping to the left. So over here, I've got the minus 13, which is now a plus 13, minus 1. I've got the equals. I've still got the 5x, but I've now also got a plus 2x, which is float and pinged and become minus 2x. So I've got 13 minus 1, which is 12, 5x minus 2x, which is 3x. And I'm now at a question that I'm good at again. I've got an escalator. So the 3 is going to go down the escalator. 12 over 3 gives me 4, and that equals x. Here's one of those for you to try. Press pause, and when you're ready to see the answer, press play. Say to yourself, where are the most x's? They're on the left. So the x's need to float and ping to the left, and the numbers need to float and ping to the right. This gives me 7x. That's a plus 5x, so it's going to become minus 5x when it float and pings. And this minus 6 is still here, but I've now got plus 3, which float and pings to become minus 3. 7x minus 5x is 2x. Minus 6 minus 3 is minus 9. Now the 2 goes down the escalator, so I've got x equals minus 9 over 2, which is minus 4.5. Here are 2 more questions for you to try. Press pause, and once you've done them, press play to see the answers. And here are the answers. We are asked to make A the subject of the formula. This means to get A on its own. To do this, we're going to use the 2 techniques, float and ping and escalator, that we looked at when solving equations in clip 60. We start by using float and ping. So looking here, are there any things that I can float and ping? Yes, there's the u. Now that's actually a positive u. So when I float and ping it, it's going to become negative u. And this here is a positive v. Then I look at escalator. I want to get the a on its own, so I need to take the t down the escalator. So my answer is minus u plus v over t equals a. There is a variation on this. When I float and ping this plus u, I put it before the v and wrote minus u plus v. You could put it after the v, so you would have v minus u equals at. You would then carry on as before and put the t down the escalator so that you get v minus u over t equals a. These 2 answers are actually exactly the same because they've both got a negative u and a positive v over a t. But they look slightly different, so just be aware that you can do it either way. In this question, I need to make u the subject of the formula, so I'm going to get the u on its own. I start looking at float and ping, and I can float and ping the plus at. It's plus at, so it will become minus at, and this is a positive v. And that leaves me with u, so my question is finished at that stage. As in the last question, you could have the answer of v minus at equals u, because I've put the minus at after the v instead of in front of the v. In this one, I need to get u on its own. So I start with float and ping, and I can float and ping the plus 5t. That's going to become minus 5t plus y equals 6u. I'm trying to get u on its own, so the 6 needs to go down the escalator. So I've got minus 5t plus y over 6 equals u. And my question is now finished. On this question, you could put the plus 5t after the y, so that you have y minus 5t equals 6u. Then take the 6 down the escalator and have y minus 5t over 6 equals u. Again, this is the same answer as this, just presented in a slightly different way. Here are 2 questions for you to try. Press pause, and once you've had a go, press play again to see the answers. So, for the first question, you could have got the answer minus u plus v over 9 equals t, or you could have the answer v minus u over 9 equals t. For the second question, you might have the answer minus u squared plus v squared over 2a equals s, or you might have v squared minus u squared over 2a equals s. I want to make y the subject of this formula. To do that, I need to get the y's on their own on one side of the equation. So I'm going to take this plus 2a over to this side. We have p minus 2a equals sy plus 2y. Now, the obvious thing to do now is to take out a factor of y. So I have p minus 2a equals, if I take out my factor of y, it leaves me with s here and 2 here. Now, to get y, I'm going to have this divided by this. So y equals p minus 2a divided by s plus 2. Y is now the subject of my formula. To make k the subject, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply through by this factor here, m plus k. So I have t multiplied by m plus k gives me n squared plus k. I'm now going to multiply out this bracket. Tn plus tk equals n squared plus k. I now want to get all the k's on one side of the equation and everything else on the other side of the equation. So I'm going to have tk minus this k equals n squared minus this tn. I'm now going to take out a factor of k. This leaves me with t here and minus 1. To get k on its own now, I need to divide by t minus 1. So I have k equals this part here, n squared minus tn, divided by t minus 1. K is now the subject of the formula. To make m the subject of this, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply by 15 plus m and by 40. For those that use the escalator method, the 15 plus m goes up the escalator this way and the 40 goes up the escalator this way. So I have 2a plus 7 multiplied by 15 plus m equals 40m. I'm now going to multiply out these brackets. So I have 2a multiplied by 15, 30a, 2a times m, 2am, 7 times 15, 105, and 7 times m, 7m. This is equal to 40m. Because I want to make m the subject of the equation, I need to get all the m's on one side and everything else on the other side. So I'm going to have 30a plus 105 equal to this 40m minus 2am minus 7m. I can now simplify this. So I have 30a plus 105 equals 40m minus 7m is 33m minus 2am. I'm now going to factorise this. So I have 30a plus 105 equals, take out a factor of m, leaving me with 33 minus 2a. Finally, to get m, I need to have this divided by this. So I have m equals 30a plus 105 divided by 33 minus 2a. m is now the subject of the formula. Here's a question for you to try. Press pause and have a go at it. When you're ready for the answer, press play. So I've started by multiplying out the bracket, giving me 10a minus 2c. Because I'm making c the subject, I want all the c's on one side. So this minus 2c goes here, giving me 7c, and the plus 1 goes here, giving me minus 1. To get c on its own, I now need to divide this by 7. Here's another question for you to do. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready for the answer, press play. The 10 minus x has gone up the escalator here, and the 9 has gone up the escalator here, giving me 9 times 2, which is 18. The brackets have been multiplied out, and then I'm trying to make x the subject of the formula, so I'm going to get all the x's on one side and everything else on the other side. I've simplified this to give me ax plus 23x, and then I've factorised. To finish, I want to get x on its own, so I need to do this divided by this. How to factorise expressions. Factorisation is the opposite of expanding brackets, so before we learn how to factorise, we need to remember how to expand brackets. If we look at this question here, we need to expand the bracket by multiplying everything inside the bracket by 2. 2 times x gives us 2x, and 2 times 3 gives us plus 6. If you can't remember how to do this very well, watch clip number 58, which will remind you. When we're factorising, what we need to do is look and see what we can actually take out. So if we look here, looking at 2x and at 6, 2 is a number that goes into both of those things. So that is what we're going to take out of the bracket. We then open our bracket and say, what do I times 2 by to get 2x? Well, it's x. What do I times 2 by to get 6? 3. Second example. Looking at this here, we've got 3x and we've got minus 12. 3 goes into both of those, so we take 3 outside the brackets. What do I times 3 by to get 3x? X. Put the minus in. What do I times 3 by to get 12? 4. Now this question is the only other type you might get. It's a little bit harder, but you can still do it. Have a look at the numbers first. We've got 2 and 4. 2 goes into both of those. Have a look at the x's. We've got x squared and x. so we can take out an x. If we now open the brackets, we say, what do I times 2x by to get 2x squared? Well, I've already got the 2 in place, so I just need to times the x by x to get x squared. Put the plus in, and then say, what do I times by 2x to get 4x? That would be 2. To check your answer, you can quickly multiply the bracket out again. 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times 2 is 4x. And this matches our original question. Here are 3 different examples for you to try. Press pause, and once you've had a go at them, press play again to see the answers. Here are the answers. In this one, looking at the 6 and 9, we can take 3 out. In this one, looking at the 4 and the 12, we can take 4 outside the bracket. And in this one, we can take a 3 from the 3 and the 9, and then we can take an x from the x squared and the x, so we take 3x. Start by multiplying the coefficient of x squared by the constant. In this equation, the coefficient of x squared is really 1. So we're going to do 1 times 8. This gives us 8. Now what we're looking for is 2 numbers which multiply together to give us 8 and add to give us 6. So 1 times 8 will give us 8, but they won't add up to give us 6. 2 times 4 will give us 8, and they will add up to give us 6. So we're going to split this 6x into 2x and 4x. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8 equals 0. I'm now going to factorise this part here. I can take out a factor of x, leaving me with x plus 2. If I also factorise this part here, I can take out a factor of 4, leaving me with x plus 2. I've now found a common factor of x plus 2. The parts that are left are x plus 4. I've now fully factorised my equation. To solve the equation, I know that these 2 numbers multiply to give me 0. This means the 1 has to be 0. If x plus 2 equals 0, then x would be minus 2. And if x plus 4 equals 0, x would be minus 4. These are my 2 solutions to my equation. Start this question in the same way. Take the coefficient of x squared, which is 2, and multiply by the constant, which is 6. This gives us 12. I'm now looking for 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 12 and add to give me minus 7. If they're going to multiply to give me 12, they could either both be positive or both be negative. If we have 1 times 12, we're not going to be able to get minus 7. 2 times 6 won't give me minus 7. But 3 times 4, if I make them both negative, I can get minus 7 from them, and if I multiply them, they will give me 12. So I'm going to split my minus 7x into minus 3x and minus 4x. This gives me 2x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 6 equals 0. I'm now going to factorise these 2 terms here. I can take out a factor of x. This leaves me with 2x minus 3. I'm going to factorise these 2 terms here. I can take out a factor of minus 2, which leaves me with 2x minus 3. I've now found a common factor of 2x minus 3. and left is x minus 2. I've fully factorised my equation. For this to equal 0, either this bracket must equal 0 or this bracket must equal 0. If this bracket equals 0, then 2x equals 3 and x equals 3 over 2. If this bracket equals 0, then x equals 2. These are my two solutions to my equation. This is a much more difficult question, but we can still do it using the same method. Take the coefficient of x squared, 6, and multiply by the constant, minus 28. This gives me minus 168. I'm now looking for two numbers that will multiply to give me minus 168. That means one of them must be a negative, and they need to add to give me plus 13. Looking down my list, I can see that minus 8 times 21 would give me minus 168, and those two numbers would add to give me 13. So I have 6x squared minus 8x plus 21x minus 28 equals 0. If I factorise these two terms, I can take out a factor of 2x. This leaves me with 3x minus 4. Factorising these two terms, I can take out a factor of 7, leaving me with 3x minus 4. I've now found a common factor of 3x minus 4. And left is 2x plus 7. For this equation to equal 0, this bracket or this bracket must equal 0. If this equals 0, then x equals 4 over 3. And if this equals 0, x equals minus 7 over 2. These are my two solutions to my equation. Here are three for you to try. Press pause and have a go at them. When you're ready for the answers, press play. These are the answers you should have got. On this last one, remember that minus 13 over 3 is equivalent to minus 4 1/3, and 3 over 2 is equivalent to 1 1/2.